Liz, it's 9:30. We can get started.
Good morning, Madam Chair and everyone. On this September 13th. Madam Chair, we have a new member this morning. Should we swear her in before we take the roll?
Sure, why not? Is Lori here to do it?
Yeah, just got on.
Alrighty.
Do you have that slide, Maurice?
Could you raise your right hand, please?
Do you have the slide?
No, I don't have a slide for this.
I have it. I have the oath anyway. I redid it. Is Ms. Brown present?
Yes, good morning. I am present.
Okay, could you raise your right hand and repeat after me? I, Terry Hamilton Brown,
I, Terry Hamilton Brown,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of Ohio,
the Constitution of the State of Ohio,
and the Charter of the City of Cleveland,
and the Charter of the City of Cleveland,
and that I will faithfully, honestly, and impartially
and that I will faithfully, honestly, and impartially
discharge the duties
discharge the duties
of the position of Board of Zoning Appeals member
of the position of Zoning Appeals member
to the City of Cleveland and State of Ohio
to the City of Cleveland and State of Ohio
during my continuance in said office.
during my continuance in said office.
Okay, congratulations.
Well, thank you. I am happy to join the board.
Congratulations.
We're happy to have a fifth member.
Yes, thank you, and welcome, Ms. Brown, again. Okay, well, we can continue, Liz.
Next slide, Maurice. I'm going to go ahead and read the preamble this morning. In compliance with notification requirements of the city's open meeting law in section 101.021 of the Codified Ordinances of Cleveland, Ohio, 1976, notice of this meeting has been publicly posted. All boards and commissions under the purview of the City Planning Department conducts its meetings according to Robert's Rules of Order. Actions during the meeting will be taken by voice vote. Abstentions from any vote due to a conflict of interest should be stated for the record prior to the taking of any vote. In order to ensure that everyone participating in the meeting have the opportunity to be heard, we ask that you use the raise hand feature before asking a question or making a comment. The raise hand feature can be found in the participants panel and on the desktop and mobile version and activated by clicking the hand icon. Please wait for the chair or facilitator to recognize you and be sure to select unmute and announce yourself before you speak. When finished speaking, please lower your hand by clicking on the raise hand icon again and mute your microphone. We will also be utilizing the chat feature to communicate with participants. The chat feature can be activated by clicking the chat button located on the bottom of the WebEx screen. Please note that call-in users can unmute by using *6. All meeting activity is being recorded via the WebEx platform. These proceedings are also being live streamed via YouTube for public view. We have provided a link to the meeting for those who wish to speak on a particular case via our website and email. All requests to speak on a particular matter have been considered. We have also received emails from those who have provided written comments on a particular matter. Next slide, Maurice. And I will call the roll, Madam Chair. Ms. Faith.
Present.
Ms. Barnes.
Present.
Ms. Brown. Oh, I don't hear you.
Present.
Thank you. Ms. Britt.
Here.
Madam Chair, we have a quorum.
Wonderful. Okay. All right, I was about to ask. Okay.
So this morning we do have one withdrawal.
Okay.
That's calendar number 21-139 regarding 10011 Clifton Boulevard. We received an email from the from the architect group that they are withdrawing the request, and as they will continue with the original plan of residential. And then we have two postponement requests. They're both on the screen. It's calendar number 21-098. The address is 13001 Dove Avenue. Mr. Snowball proposed to construct a 7-space parking lot in a B1 2-family residential district. The applicant is stating that he needs more time to meet with the community. I think in this case, it's the block club.
Okay.
And we can give that the date of October. We can give it the date of October 4th.
Is that enough time for them?
You know what? I don't know if it's specified in the email. If you'd like, we
Okay.
could push it out to the 11th or the 18th. You
Yeah,
think we need more time?
give them to like the 11th, and that way, just so you know, it's kind of hard to gather the community up quickly. So,
Right. Okay, 18th for that. Then the next one, I believe it's the same issue. They need to meet with the block club. And this is calendar number 21-120 at 2280 West 6th Street. Aaron Price, the owner, proposed to erect a 4-story frame single-family residence in a B1 family residential district. Again, in this case, the applicant needs more time to meet with the block club. And I think this is the one that wanted to be back on the agenda pretty quickly. Let's put them on October 4th.
okay.
And that's all that we have for postponements.
Thank you. I believe I saw Councilman Casey here.
Yes.
So, Alana, can we start with his case, please?
Yes, we can. That would be case number 21-095 at 14526 Puritas Avenue. Northern Ohio Gas Stations, Sadi Hasham, owner, proposes to use and occupy premises as a motor vehicle service station in a C2 local retail business district. The owner appeals for relief from the strict application of the Cleveland Codified Ordinances as stated in the agenda and the public record, of which there are 2. This case was postponed from July 12th. The first postponement was made at the request of the attorney due to a scheduling conflict. Madam Chair, would you like me to also do the oath?
I would. We'll hold that, and then we'll talk to members later about relieving some of your double duty, Ms. Faith. So thank you.
Okay. All right. So for all those who wish to make statements or testimony in calendar number 21-095, I am going to read an oath, and your response will be "I do," following which you will state your name and your address. So if you'll please raise your right hand and I will read the oath for you. I do swear or affirm that the testimony I'm about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth.
I do, Brian Casey, 601 Lakeside.
Thank you.
I do.
Next.
I do, Melissa Miller, 14703 Puritas Avenue.
Next. Do we have anyone representing the appellant here today?
Please remember to use *6 to unmute.
Okay, well, we'll pause that. Sorry, Councilman. We'll pause that and let's see if the appellant appears later.
I noticed, Madam Chair, we have Councilman Hairston also online.
Okay.
Madam Chair, I do see the attorney, Sam Zingali or Zingao. He is, I believe he's the representative. Maybe he's having trouble with his microphone. Again, it's the star button and 6 to unmute yourself.
Well, it looks like he's on a smartphone, so it would just be the normal unmute process by finding the button.
Thanks.
Is that working?
There we go.
Now?
He's on. Yes, we can hear you now.
Yeah, I could see you. I don't know if you could see us, but we are here. I'm here with Mr. Abahassam. He did swear and affirm, but I'm not sure if you heard that.
We
Could
did not.
you-
We cannot see you, but that's fine.
Could
Yeah,
you please state the name and the address for the record For our recorder, please, again.
State your name.
My name Sadi Abu Hashim.
And your address, sir?
146 Veritas Avenue, Cleveland, Ohio, 44135.
Now that's his home address. Is that what you want?
No, this is Purity.
Oh, this is
This is
pure.
a gas station.
I'm sorry.
That's fine. I
Can you see
believe.
us now or not? I tried to.
Yes.
Yes, we can see you now.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Boy, I've never used a WebEx.
Well, welcome.
Thank you.
Okay. Madam Chair, I think we're back to you then.
All right, history of the property, please, Ms. Kukla.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This property was originally zoned general retail in 1929. Just last year, it was changed to the current local retail business district. That was April of last year. In the Building and Housing Records Administration office, I found that in 1976, a permit was issued to erect a gasoline filling station with 2 pump islands, and also to hard surface the parking lot. There are no variances on file. And then in the more recent history in our Acela system, found that in 2011, a permit was issued for expansion of a use for used car sales. The expansion of a use to use as used car sales. 2015, a permit was issued for establishment of occupancy per approved plans for automobile sales lot. Certificate of occupancy was required, and the status of that in the Acela system stated that the issuance was pending. And then earlier this year, there was a complaint that former gas station is being used to store vehicles. And that's violation notice V2100694. And that's all that I have, Madam Chair.
We try to add it.
Okay, thank you. Legal standard, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the board. Appellant is requesting a use variance. To obtain the use variance, appellant must prove that denying the request will result in an unnecessary hardship particular to the property, such that there will be no economically feasible use of the property without the variance, will deprive the appellant of substantial property rights, and that granting the variance will not be contrary to the purpose and intent of the zoning code.
Thank you. Okay, Mr. Zengale, would you like to present your case, please?
Yes, very briefly. Mr. Abu Hassam purchased this gas station in 2005, and he tried to add the automobile portion of it, but never went forward with that. It still remains a gas station, which has been since even prior to his purchase in 2005. Now, he continues to pay the state of Ohio the UST fund for the pumps. He has, although he sought not to run it himself, he has sought other people to run it. In 2018, he tried to lease it to a group called the WAWA Group LLC. Mr. Kamalabi, who's an attorney, wanted to lease it on behalf of his client, Manabi Group LLC, and that never occurred. In 2020, Mr. Nasser also sought to lease the premises, and that never occurred. Mr. Abu Hassam has never discontinued his use as a gas station, even though it has been closed. He has sought to lease it and reopen it. He's continued to pay the tax on the property. He's continued to pay the for the pumps to the state of Ohio. Right, the BUSTR, BUSTR, UST, the Ohio UST fund. His last payment was on May 5th of 2021. He's a couple of payments in arrears, but they're going to work with him so that he can complete his BUSTR payments. What we're basically indicating is we have not discontinued the use, and if the board is seeking or the city is seeking to claim the gas station is a non-conforming use, and we've never discontinued the business.
Madam Chair, we have Lori Wagner with her hand raised.
Go ahead, Ms. Wagner.
Sorry, I would ask the appellant to clarify if the gas station is in operation at this point in time, and if not, when was it operation discontinued, which obviously has some relevance to whether it's a non-conforming use.
Remember when it was discontinued?
Doesn't look like it's in operation right now.
No, it is not in operation right now because we continue to seek a lessee
to give me electricity.
who will run the property. Right.
No electricity.
When's the last time you talked to someone about leasing property as a gas station?
The last time, October 2020.
Oh,
The
so
question I had is, when was it last operating as a gas station?
Last operating, for me, 2017. But I lease it for the lawyer. One lawyer, Mr. Convali, he already brought two bombs and he put it and he want to start it. I go with him to pastor with that lawyer. He want to lease it, and we met in the city Cleveland. We met a guy, and he left there and returned back with him, and he quit. Another guy, he took it, and same problem. And the third guy, 2020, he came and he start to remove everything inside, cleaning inside, and one.
Madam Chair, I was just trying to clarify the legal standard that this case will be judged by, since it has not been operating as a gas station in more than 2 years. The use variance standard that I read is the correct legal standard, just to advise the board.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, I just wanted to show you, I have a Google Maps image up from August of 2017, and it does not look like the gas station is in use at that point.
Yeah, and so what I'm confused about is, so are you here to get the variance so that you can lease it out as a gas station, or I'm confused about what you're here about? Because if you're not in operation right now, it doesn't seem like you have anyone ready to move in there right now either. So if you can just clarify exactly what you want to do today.
Yes, we're seeking to use it as a gas station, and we're seeking someone to operate it as a gas station under a lease. And thus far, even though he has made a number of attempts from 2017 all the way through 2020, and he has not been able to secure anybody that's able to lease it, even though there have been extended discussions.
No electricity, and don't like to give us electricity. That's why, we try to take no power now. Since last year, we try to take power to open it, and they didn't allow us.
Okay. Melissa, can you give us some insight on this, please?
I can. Thank you, Madam Chair, to the board through the chair. My name is Melissa Miller. I am the Community Development Director at Bel Air Puritas Development Corporation. This gas station has not been in operation within the past 2 years at all. I don't know the exact date. Obviously, 2017 seems to be an agreed upon time, but I can say it has not been in operation for the past 2 years. Last year, the zoning was changed on Puritas Avenue. We worked with Adam Davenport at the City of Cleveland in the planning department and with Councilman Casey to change that zoning and bring it down to local retail on the street to eliminate some of the, nuisance, some of the businesses that deal with more automotive type businesses, to make sure that car lots did not start to expand onto Puritas Avenue. They seem to be popping up wherever they possibly could. and to limit the number of gas stations on Puritas. Puritas, while it is a commercial street, it is not, it is a street that has residential streets all off of it. It is not an area of the neighborhood where the automotive uses like a gas station or any sort of used auto sales would be appropriate. We have plenty of those uses on 150th Street, on 130th Street. And so to keep in the character of the neighborhood and for future planning purposes, we decided to take the zoning down to local retail. We did invite businesses to come to a meeting prior to the change of zoning. A few businesses did. I do not believe the owner of this business came to that meeting. However, every business was notified via mail that the meeting was going to occur and the changes that would happen. So as of today, we are opposed to granting a variance to allow any use for a gas station at this site.
Thank you, Melissa. Maurice, is Adam here, or are you speaking on behalf of planning?
I don't see Adam, no. I'd like to hear from the councilman before I give city planning's recommendation, if that's okay.
Thank you. Madam Chairwoman and members of the board, I know that people have been saying 2017 was a last date use, but this business has been shuttered since before I got on council, and I got on council in 2015. This has never been an operating business since I've been representing Ward 16. The gas station has a number of times we've had to use resources from our CDC to cover over graffiti on this building. As you can see in the one picture right there, even currently this morning, I went by again this morning and it's still graffitied. Within a quarter of a mile of this particular shuttered business, we have 3 gas stations and 3 auto repair shops. So the neighborhood is well represented when it comes to gas stations and auto repair. This owner has never reached out to either myself or my office in regards to plans. I know a couple of months ago we had to contact the CDC contacted somebody because they had just put a number of cars on that lot out of the blue. And also I've heard from the neighbors directly behind that property that are not in agreement with any expansion or being supportive of any variance, and neither am I. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. Go ahead, Maurice.
Yes, Madam Chair. I would have to concur with the opinions of both the CDC and the council person. Adam Davenport did work closely with the council person and the CDC to downzone this area to eliminate these kinds of uses. It hasn't been in operation for many years. The councilman is saying 2015. So we would not be in favor of supporting these variances.
Thank you. Lori, is that just your hand from before? Or you have something else?
No, that was my hand from before. I don't know anything else.
Okay, thank you.
Madam Chairman,
Yes.
again, we do not seek to use this as a car lot. Although he wanted to expand it to that, he's given up that. He's not seeking to use it as a car lot. I would say that the councilman and everyone is correct that there are a number of gas stations at 150th. They're major gas stations, corporate owned, obviously, and they've been there for a period of time. But also Mr. Abu Hassan has been there for a period of time. Not only was that a gas station prior to 2005, but it's been a gas station since 2005. And even if we assume for a moment that it ceased operation in 2017, even though he sought people to run it, there really, to my knowledge anyway, had not been any complaints from anyone prior to this. even though it was in operation from 2005 to 2017. I mean, that and prior to that. I think if he had opened, was able to get a lessee, that there would not have been a problem. I think it's only because it was closed that people realized that, well, let's have one less gas station in the area, since we have large corporate stations at the corner, which is about a quarter of a mile away. I just think it's unfair to take a business that had been there for so long without complaint until recently, and deny it the use that it had previously.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Zengel. Board, open it up for questions. I feel like this case is not really ready for us right now.
Can I speak, please?
Hold on, sir. I just asked my board for if they have any questions or comments. We will incorporate you in a minute.
Madam Chair, it seems like this business has been non-operational for obviously a number of years. So, you know, if he seeks to resurrect it, you know, he doesn't have any active leasee apparently at the time. So I guess let's let him comment. Perhaps he has some further information to share with us, maybe.
Do you have anyone ready to take it? If you could get it.
No electricity. Yes, I need electricity because October and Mr. Council Casey, his office came in October 2020. One guy, he leased it from me and he started to clean it from inside, make a tile, make a ceiling, and put it dumping something. They came from his office, and one guy from his Mr. Council office, and he told him, no, this is no more gas station. The guy he leased it, he told me, I told him, okay, I go to his office in the Puritas near the US Bank, and he gave me, we decide no gas station. We change the zoning. Okay, changing the zoning. This is, you know, there is a 3 tank. Each tank, you know, if you want to open gas station, each tank, $75,000 each one. And I don't have electricity. Why I don't have electricity? Because, you know, the old owner, he, you know, he has a problem, and he's in Pennsylvania, and because I pay the gas station by payment. Okay, I finished payment 2012.
Okay,
And
sir, but do you
after-
have, we need to know, do you have someone, if you get this variance today, do you have someone tomorrow ready to move into this gas station?
Yes.
Okay, well, Alana, I guess that answers the question.
Madam Chair.
Ms. Barnes?
Yes, good morning.
Good morning.
I'm asking a question here. What stopped him from all these years from opening up, and he just now seeking the variance to do this? I'm just not understanding why he can't meet with the community and meet with the council person and the CDC in that area. I think we should reconsider until he meet with those people, try to iron out their differences.
Well, I do feel like this case is not ready for us today. And we spent enough time on, I'm gonna have to start, you know, cracking down on us working out cases while we're here. Like, you need to have these things ready and done before you come see us. So to me, I feel like this case is not ready. Sir, if we deny you today, there's nothing, you can't put a gas station here again. So
Can we continue the matter, Madam Chairman?
we can, yeah, if you want to postpone it, we can grant one if you want to try to figure something else out, or
Yes, we would, because he does want
talk
to.
with Melissa Miller and
Yeah.
the councilman about what you could actually do there that would be appropriate, because I feel like you're just not ready today.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
this is Melissa Miller, Bel Air Puritas Development Corporation. I mean, we can postpone if everybody feels that that's best. I can say, you know, I would, to the board, I mean, we changed the zoning for this specific reason. It's something that the community wanted. The neighbors behind the gas station have expressed to the councilman that they don't want a gas station there. You know, we can talk all we want with him. Our position is not going to change. If we come back in a month and he still wants a gas station, the CDC will still be opposing a gas station at this
I got
location.
that point. I'm just, I don't feel like this was ready, even if we were going to grant something like this. I just don't think this case was ready to be before us today. So he needs to figure out if he wants to come back and try to get this gas station, or if he wants to do something else with this property. I just don't feel like this case is ready for us to see either way.
Can we have, let's say 60 days to come up with a active lessee that's prepared to open the station? Would that make a difference?
Yeah, I can't tell you either way whether it's going to make a difference or not.
Madam Chairwoman,
Let me
if I
finish.
may.
Yes, let me finish my statement. So I can't really tell you, sir, whether you having a leasee will be, will influence the board or not. I can't tell you what's going to happen that day. So you can either roll your dice right now, or you can go, withdraw and go back to the drawing board about, doing something else, because it's made clear by the community and the councilman that they don't want to see a gas station here.
Again, I think what Mr. Possum would like is some time to either see if he can change the dynamics of the station, or if he's got a new plan for it. But I don't think he's prepared to make that decision today, because he was hoping to get a continuation of the gas station use. And
okay, go ahead, Councilman. Sorry.
Madam Chairwoman, in previous testimony, he indicated that he had somebody that it would be willing to open it if it was granted today. So I would recommend that I can pull a community meeting together within a couple of days with whoever his leasee would be. So we would like to ask for a hearing as soon as possible, since he's already got somebody that he indicated would be willing to open up tomorrow if it was granted today.
Yes, sir, come and say that.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So we'll give him 30 days and get back on the agenda.
Okay.
Liz, what date can we give him? And sir, I need everything that you presented at that. So we're giving you 30 days to have all the information that you need to be presented to us, because we're not going to work through your case again.
I understand.
Okay.
I understand.
Okay, sorry.
Madam Chair, we have Lori Wagner again.
I just want to state for the benefit of the appellant and his attorney, what was alluded to is that if you come for us for a variance for a gas station and it's denied, then you would not be able to reapply for that. That's res judicata. So the other alternative to continuing this case would be to withdraw this case, and then you would have as much time as you want to meet with the neighbors and the councilman and come up with some kind of decision. I just wanted to say that's another option.
Well, let me ask you this. If I withdraw, does that give me the opportunity to come back and request a gas station?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, let's do that. Let's withdraw our application. How much time would we have to do that?
But once you withdraw, it's on you when you reapply.
Okay, for a variance.
Yes.
Let's do that. We're going to withdraw this application. Okay. And let's get it together and then reapply. Now, maybe they'll grant it, maybe they won't. But right now, in effect, they're going to deny it or give us 30 days to put it together. But if we can't make the 30 days. Madam Chair?
Yes, we need a decision.
I think what Mr. Abbott-Hudson would like to do is see if he could do something within the next 30 days. And if he cannot, he'll withdraw the application.
Okay. Councilman, you heard that. So you can pull a meeting together and you guys can work that out and then come back with a more finished product for the board in 30 days. Liz, what's the date we can give them?
October 18th.
Okay.
Wait a minute, October 18th?
October 18th.
Can we get the following week, let's say? I have a trial set on the 18th, which I think will be over by the 25th. Is that a better? Is that possible?
You want the
Yeah.
week after the 18th?
Yes.
What's
That would
that
be
date? Like?
That would be October 25th. And
Okay.
we have room on the calendar for it.
Okay. Okay,
And
we'll
if,
make it October 25th.
if I may, if I could be contacted, and then I would arrange to meet along with Mr. Abahasam. I assume the councilman, I don't know if he has my number. My name is Sam Zingali, obviously, but my number is
Sir,
216.
sir, you're on a public live feed, so you
Yeah.
may not want to give
So
your
you may
phone
wanna-
number out.
Yeah,
in
you may just
public?
want to.
Okay,
Yes.
all right. Well, it's on the complaint. I mean, on the appeal.
Well, it'll be on you. So you need to contact the councilman's office and/or Melissa
Okay,
Miller
then,
at the CDC.
then I will do that. I'll have
Okay.
Mr. Abahasam do that and arrange a meeting, and I will be there.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you,
All
Madam
right.
Chairwoman. Thank you, members of the board.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Councilman. Have a
Councilman.
good day.
Bye-bye.
Madam
All right,
Chair,
moving on.
believe we still have Councilman Hairston with us.
Correct.
Yes,
All
I'm
right.
still here.
Thank you. Okay, so we'll move on to calendar number 21-136 at 14930 St. Clair Avenue. 5 Points Shopping Center LLC owner and Halia Enterprise LLC leasee proposed to establish use as a banquet, assembly, entertainment, party hall in a C2 shopping center district. The owner appeals for relief from the strict application of the Cleveland Codified Ordinances stated in the agenda and the public record, of which there are 2. All right, moving on to my next job. I'm going to swear you in for all those people wishing to make statements or testimony for case number 21-136. I'm going to read an oath. Following the oath, your response will be, I do, and then you will state your name and your address one at a time. So here we go. Please raise your right hand. I do swear or affirm that the testimony I'm about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth.
I do swear and affirm that the testimony I'm about to receive is the truth and nothing but the truth.
And your name and your address, please.
My name is Tanisha Reese. I'm sorry, my address is 1827 Sheldon, East Cleveland, Ohio, 44112.
Thank you. Next.
I do swear or affirm that the testimony that I'm about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth. My name is Makanya Smith. I represent the organization Taking Back Our Youth at 1022 East 149th Street.
Thank you. Next.
Councilman Anthony Hairston, Ward 10, 601 Lakeside. Testimony, nothing but the truth.
Thank you, Councilman. Anyone else?
I do, Cynthia Brookins with Greater Collinwood Development. And nice word, tell the truth, nothing but the truth.
Cynthia, what's the address, please?
15614 St. Clair Avenue.
Great, thank you. Anyone else? All right, Madam Chair, it looks like we can move forward.
Thank you. History of the property, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The property was originally zoned general retail, and in 1997, it was changed to the current shopping center district. And there are no variances on file for this address. And I found that in 1994, a permit was issued to erect a 75 by 180 one-story retail building for retail spaces. In 1995, I found a permit was issued for interior alterations to establish a renter's choice furniture sales. 1998, a permit was issued for a new 5 Points Plaza sign. Those are the relevant records that I found, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Legal standard, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the board. Appellant is requesting a use variance. To obtain the use variance, appellant must prove that denying the request will result in an unnecessary hardship particular to the property, such that there will be no economically feasible use of the property. Without the variance, will deprive the appellant of substantial property rights, and the granting the variance will not be contrary to the purpose and intent of the zoning code.
Thank you. Maurice, can we get a quick summary here?
Yeah, we're talking primarily about the use which is not permitted in the district, having a party center. That's basically the whole thing.
Great, thank you. Who's going to be the spokesperson for this case?
I'm Malia Creations, and I'll just speak on what I'm trying to do with the location. I am an event designer. I've been in business for 5 years. I'm trying to basically have a space where I could host small events, repasses, baby showers, kids parties. I have a high clientele, and right now I have been running a successful upscale event furniture rental. So I'm looking for a location right now. I have a truck and I go from different locations, dropping off event furniture and styling events. I'm not looking to do anything that's on a big scale as far as parties, but I do need an area where I can host my small parties, day parties. I do a lot of quinceañeras and bar mitzvahs, and I do a lot of elaborate balloon designs. I've worked for many of the Cleveland public schools doing my balloon designs, but it's just hard to find a location in which I don't have to move the big items that I have around. I've spoken with and met with also the councilman, Mr. Harrison, and also Cynthia Brookins, and they may be able to share a little bit more light on what I need to do or what I'm trying to do with this location.
Madam Chair, if I could jump in real quick. We just had one really basic question. We couldn't tell from the application which part of the shopping center you're actually proposing to go into.
It's actually a location located near the laundromat.
So is it in one of these pictures that I have up on the screen?
No, sir.
No. Okay.
It's in the front.
But it is in this.
Oh, so
it is in this plaza, though.
It is in that plaza.
Okay.
So is it in the building that's right there up on front on St. Clair? That's kind of perpendicular to St. Clair.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. That clarifies things.
Thanks, Maurice. We need to know that.
I may be able to pull up some pictures of that space too. Let me look what I have while they continue to discuss their project.
All right. I'll ask Cynthia to chime in, please.
Yes. So the councilman and I did meet with her, and she did indicate everything she just talked about. And like she said, the parties that she will be conducting will be like small parties of, baby showers and bar mitzvahs. She might have a couple in the, early evening, but it won't go, past like 11 o'clock or midnight. The plaza, of course, is away where it is away from residents. And there's plenty of, parking there. But like she said, she does have a successful business. I did, look up her website, and she's done several really nice events which she designs herself. And so the CDC is in favor of her, having her business there at the plaza.
Thank you, Cynthia. Ms. Reese, quick question. Will you have actual hours of operation for this site, or will it just be, as needed when you have events?
It would be as needed. I currently work Monday through Friday for the VA hospital. I'm a contracting officer. So it would probably, like, if it's a repass or something like that, then maybe it'll be, in service, but typically weekends, early weekends, because like I said, I do work Monday through Friday.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Smith, did you want to chime in?
No, I just wanted to make sure that it was safety over there. Right there on 149th Street, a lot of individuals, they pass through 149th to get to the plaza. And it's very dark over in that area, and it's just a lot of waste, a lot of trash over in that area. So I just would want to know, how would
Well, I'm sorry.
Go ahead, beautiful.
I would take definitely be responsible and try to clean that lot up, and as much as I could possibly do. So as far as like the darkness on 149th, I can't really speak for that particular part, but as far as the cleanliness of the lot and keep that area clean, I definitely would take on that responsibility.
Thank you, Ms.
If I may speak, I've been in touch with the owners of the plaza, and the building that's at the end is getting ready to be occupied also, as you can see in the picture. And so they are getting ready to repave the lot, and then they're going to add the additional lighting or fix the lighting that's on there now to add more brightness to the parking lot. So they are putting, going to be doing improvements to that exterior lot and the lighting.
Okay, and then what about the area? I'm just speaking from the owners of the plaza. The area that's right there by the football field. There's a big lot. It's just always open, and it's a safety concern for a lot of the elders and the residents over there. That's all. But other than that, I do not oppose her business. I actually wish her much success.
Thank you, Ms. Smith. It's always nice to have someone positive, a positive neighbor come in and have something good to say. So we appreciate that. Councilman?
Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the board, staff. As Cynthia Brookins indicated, we did meet with the young lady who is looking to occupy the space here at the 5 Points Plaza. But firstly, I'd like to address Ms. Smith's concern. So part of the lot is owned by the still in the name of the previous owner of this plaza, who is deceased, and that is going through bank foreclosure. So that's been a struggle to keep up on the deceased owner and the bank to try to keep that place cut. But the city has on many occasions over the summer. In fact, they've sent me pictures. I've been over there to look at it. They've done a lot of brush cutting back along that back corner there off of 149th that was closed off once the bank shifted to the front part of the property. Well, I'll address the street lights on the 149th on the dead end if they are out. So we'll go by tonight just to see what's out and get it back on. Just flipping back to the owner and the business here. We met with Ms. Tanisha Reese about the project, and we also expressed concerns of late night events, and she assured us that these events will wrap up no later than midnight. We talked about having a police officer at every event that she has there in the plaza to ensure safety for those who are attending and those who are leaving the plaza after the event is over. We also discussed some other safety initiatives and making sure that, when her patrons leave, that she cleaned the parking lot, et cetera. So I have no unreadiness with moving this forward. In fact, we are going to meet with Ms. Reese to develop some sort of operating agreement, so that way there's something that we can work off of as we move forward.
Thank you,
So that's
Council.
all for me. Thank you.
All right. Board, any questions? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
Madam
Yes.
Chair.
Okay,
Oh,
go ahead.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Ms. Barnes.
Okay, Ms. Barnes' concern is, Madam Chair, will there be alcohol any type there? Will it be a BYOB bringing to these parties, or what were you trying to do with that part? That's my biggest concern, and definitely with these young adults.
No, ma'am, there would be no alcohol.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Ms. Faith, you had a question?
Well, that question answered one of mine. Typically, our board member who is absent always likes to know about alcohol and hours of operation. So, do we have a time when events, when the building is going to absolutely be vacated? And you know, the end time for when the hours are going to be?
12, like I said, 12 p.m. I'm sorry, well, 12 a.m.
AM, yeah. She
Right.
did
Well,
testify that the building would be as needed, so it won't really be open unless she has an event.
right, right. But they will end by 12 midnight then. And no alcohol on premise, right? Is that correct, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am. I'm sorry. I thought you heard me.
Okay. So there's not going to be any alcohol on present, and the building will be vacated by midnight. Okay. With that, Madam Chair, I am prepared to make a motion on calendar number 21-136 that we go ahead and approve the variances given testimony of the CDC and Councilman Hairston, with the stipulation that there is not going to be any alcohol consumed on the premise, and that the building will be vacated by 12 midnight. Is there any further
And Madam Chair, you
discussion
have the
on that?
councilman.
Oh, the councilman, Councilman, we're in the midst of a motion.
Yes,
Do you,
I'm sorry. I just wanted to make sure that she also, Ms. Reese also, and Ms. Faith, when they asked the question, that there is a part of the motion that she agreed to have security for the events.
Great.
Security
Okay.
for the events there at the plaza.
Thank you, Councilman. That is another stipulation that we can add to the motion, so that we will require that that there be security at the on site for the duration of any events.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Would that be security for anything after 6 p.m.? Would that be a security for all events, period?
Councilman, do you have any stipulation on what you would like that to be?
I would recommend all events, period.
Okay, for the duration of the event, ma'am.
I have a security company for you if you need it.
Okay.
Second.
So so to clarify this, so if a person would like to have a repast or a baby shower between the hours of 1 p.m. and 6 p.m., they need a security guard there?
The councilman, it sounds like, is that correct, Councilman? You would still like to have security present, right?
I would say yes.
Okay.
Okay.
So does that answer your question, ma'am? I think it errs on the side of safety. So
Correct.
Okay.
okay. All right. So, Madam Chair, I think that
yeah, we have a
concludes.
motion. Yeah, we have a motion. Can I have a second,
Yes.
please?
And we've had discussion.
Yes.
Second, Ms. Barnes.
Thank you.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
this is Lori Wagner, and I feel compelled to remind the board that they can make the motion in terms of condition of approval, but if a variance is granted for a party center, it will be up to the state of Ohio and the Department of Liquor Control as to whether alcohol is served or not. The board can't enforce that condition. It can certainly indicate that that's the basis of approval, but ultimately the state will decide if the applicant applies for alcohol.
Thank you, Ms. Wagner. Okay, we have a motion and a second. Can you call the roll, please, Ms. Cooper?
Sure. Thanks, Madam Chair. And again, for the record, this is granting the variance conditionally based on the hours of operation or the events ending at midnight, that the appellant has agreed to no alcohol on site, and also the appellant has agreed for to secure every event with a security guard. I will call the roll, Madam Chair. Ms. Barnes? I can't hear you, Ms. Barnes.
Yes.
Thank you. Ms. Faith?
Yes.
Ms. Brown?
Yes.
Ms. Britt?
Yes.
Calendar 21-136 is granted with the stated conditions. It'll be ratified next week, and we will send you a letter.
All right. Thank you. Good luck, Ms. Reese.
All right, Madam Chair. Moving along.
Hang
on. In our rather convoluted agenda today, calendar number 21-140 at 2054 Fulton Road. Oh, sorry.
Madam Chair, we still have another Councilman Hairston case.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Let me flip
The
through
one that's
here.
up on the screen. Is Councilman still online? Yes, he is. Okay.
Yes. Okay. Thank you. So as a courtesy to the councilman, we always like to take their cases when they're present. So we're moving on to calendar number 21-132. This case was postponed from August 23rd, 2021. This address is 1430 East 45th Street. Cleveland Housing Network owner proposes to construct a 3-story, 50-unit apartment building, providing housing and services and counseling for transitional age youth in a B1 multifamily residential district. The owner appeals for relief from the strict application of the Cleveland Codified Ordinances as stated in the agenda and the public record, of which there are 3. Of note, the first postponement of this case was due to a misprint on the adjudication. That concludes the reading of the case. Moving on to swearing in. All those present wishing to make statements and testimony on case number 21-132, I'm going to ask you to raise your right hand. I'll read the oath. Your response will be, I do. And then you will state your name and your address, one person at a time. Here we go. Please raise your right hand. I do swear or affirm that the testimony I'm about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth.
I do.
I do.
I need your names and addresses.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, we can.
Okay. Yep. I'm sorry. This is Ben Ochner, and I'm counsel for the applicants, and I apologize. I'm a Neanderthal when it comes to technology, so I'm on phone only, and I apologize for that. But this is Ben Ochner, and I swear.
Okay. Ben, can you give us spell your last name for us, please?
Yes, it's Ockner.
Thank you. And you are counsel for the appellant?
Yes.
All right, great. Next person, please.
I do.
My name is.
Oh, sorry, Brian.
No, sorry, you go ahead.
Okay. I do. Ellen Kirtner LaFleur. CHN is located at 2999.
Thank you, Ellen. Okay, I guess next person.
Brian Grambort. That's Grambort. Address is 1939 West 25th Street, Suite 300 in Cleveland.
Thank you, Brian. Is there anyone else?
I do. My name is Richard Carr, 7812 Madison Avenue.
Is there anyone else?
Mr. Brown, you are muted.
I do. My name's Keone Rates with Frontline Service, 1701 Payne Avenue in Cleveland.
Thank you, Keone.
Okay. Am I now unmuted?
You are.
Okay, thank you. This is Robert N. Brown. I'm at 2903 Cleveland Heights, 2903 Hampshire Road in Cleveland Heights. And I will be speaking on behalf of the applicant.
Okay, thank you. Is there anyone else then?
This is Andrew Weinstert, 1411 East 47th Street. I'm across the street.
And your name again, please?
Andrew Weingart.
Thank you. Anyone else?
I do. Christy Zozio, 4019 Prospect Avenue.
All right. Thank you. Anyone else?
Angela, you're on mute, I think.
Was there someone else?
Sorry, I was on mute. Angela Glasgow, 1744 Payne, also from Frontline.
Okay. All right. All right. Does that conclude, everyone? All right, Madam Chair, I believe we have everyone, so on to you.
I believe it's everyone on this call right now. Okay, history of the property, please, Ms. Cookson.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The property was originally zoned semi-industry, and in 1992, it was changed to the multifamily district. I should state that the addresses of the, that this project area includes a range of addresses. It includes 1411, 1415, and 1431 East 45th Street, as well as 1432, 1436 East 47th Street. Those are the original addresses for the project area. I didn't find much in the records room for those addresses. Thought the most pertinent information was that in 1998, a permit was issued for the address of 1415 East 45th Street to demolish a two-story brick and block storage building to correct condemnation. And I could also state, Madam Chair, that when I looked at our old Sanborn maps, the insurance maps, that there were 2 or 3 large industrial buildings on the project area. And so then we do have variances for this, for the range of addresses, calendar 05-81 through 05-104. In those cases were in 2005. At that time, the property was listed as vacant. And variances were granted to erect 24 townhouses, single-family townhouses. The site included a newly dedicated one-way street. And that's all that I have, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Legal standard, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the board. Appellant is requesting area variances from the maximum gross floor area, minimum lot size, and landscaping requirements of the zoning code. To obtain the area variances, appellant must prove that denying the request will create a practical difficulty not generally shared by other land or buildings in the same district, will deprive the appellant of substantial property rights, and that granting the variances will not be contrary to the purpose and intent of the zoning code.
Thank you. Maurice, quick summary, please.
You caught me off guard.
Oh, sorry.
So we have the basic traditional area variance that is very common, and then we also have a 6-foot wide landscape strip. Is basically all that we're really looking for here.
Okay, thank you. Who's going to be the official spokesperson for this project?
Madam Chairman, this is Ben Ochner, and I will try to sort of guide the conversation, but most of the speaking you'll hear is from other witnesses.
Okay, well, if anyone can address the variances first, and then all other testimony, I'll hear, but keep it brief because we're just want to, work out the variances for this project.
I appreciate that. You're aware of what the variances are that we're looking for. This is a proposed transition age youth housing facility for 18 to 24-year-olds who are homeless, some of whom have aged out of foster care. In support, you're going to hear from Ellen Kirtner-LaFleur of CHN Housing Network, who oversaw the development and its trek through various city planning processes. Then I'm going to ask Christy Sozio of A Place for Me and YWCA of Greater Cleveland to explain the compelling need for the development and what differentiates it from other housing projects, as well as the needs of the tenants. Next, you'll hear from Brian Grambord of Hitty DeFrancesco and Siebold, the architects who designed the development, and he'll discuss the design and how it evolved, and also he has some insight into the process as well. Next, Keone Rates will address you with information. She's with Frontline Service, which will be providing some counseling and support services that will be made available to the residents and how they'll be provided for. Then you'll hear from Richard Carr of Eden, and he will explain the economic challenges that the development faces and how overcoming those challenges requires at least the number of units and the size of the units that have been proposed. And lastly, you'll hear from Bob Brown. Many of you are familiar with Mr. Brown. He was formerly the director of the Cleveland Planning Department. We've asked him to provide an expert testimony regarding the variances. Before I turn it over to Ellen, I do want to point out, I believe we've provided for the 6-foot the landscape strip, which is, I think, number 3 on the notice. But one of the folks, maybe Ellen can confirm that. I think you have the drawing already submitted before the board that has that landscaping. And without further ado, Ellen, if you would tell the board what you've been doing and what your role is and what the project is.
Okay, Ellen, before you start, and for everyone, this is a long list of people to speak for this project for 3 minor variances. So I understand you all want to convince us about the project, but please make sure that your comments are brief. We have a lot of people to get through.
Yes.
Understood. Absolutely. And I will confirm, Ben, thanks for raising that. The landscape buffer, Brian Grimbort, our architect, can kind of show that on the site plan, but we did receive that comment and did make that change. So the area variances are what we're seeking here today. And so, yes, I'll try to keep this extremely brief, but as noted in the history of the parcel, this is a location that CHN Housing Partners has owned for a number of years, going back to 2004. The prior potential development was mentioned, and that really, unfortunately, came together right as the Great Recession was hitting, and so just didn't work at that point when that happened, and so has just been maintained. There was environmental remediation completed on the property previously, and it's just been maintained as vacant property up to now. We have been working with a great team of partners, many of whom worked on the Housing First initiative, which was targeted toward long-term homelessness in our community. So this team has had experience building, over 700 units of permanent supportive housing across Cleveland in 11 buildings. So that's Eden, Frontline, Enterprise, Sisters of Charity Foundation, CHN. And we've also on this development been working with A Place for Me and the Reach Youth Action Board. And they've really been helping to guide us to take the concept of PSH that we've implemented here in our community and make it into something that works to meet the needs of young adults in our community. And Christy can certainly speak to that much better than I can, but we know that there are a number of young adults in our community experiencing homelessness, and that the existing housing units that are available to them don't meet the need and aren't targeted in a way that can really provide the best benefit. And so this building, we're proposing 50 units here, which is slightly smaller than the other PSH buildings that the team has worked on. We're going to have 38 one-bedroom units and 12 two-bedroom units, and that's so that we can accommodate young adults who are parenting. You'll notice some of the common area spaces are a little different than what may have been in other PSH buildings as well, as we've really focused on listening to the young adults that we've been working with, both on the REACH Youth Action Board and others, to make this meet their needs, to be flexible, accommodating. And so we have things like a learning kitchen to support group meals and cooking lessons. We have a secure playground for the young adults who are parenting. We have a computer room that looks out into a playroom so that parenting young adults can get their work done and watch their kids play at the same time. We have recreation space as well. You'll also note that the parking is a little bit bigger than what we've done previously on our PSH deals as well, because we know that for these young adults, owning a car may be a goal that they have. And so we want to make sure that what we're providing won't ultimately burden the neighboring streets. So Ben, I don't want to go too long, so I'll turn it back over to you to keep us moving, but let me know if there's anything else you'd like me to touch on.
Thank you.
I apologize, Madam Chair. Do you mind if I ask one or two questions very quickly?
You want to ask questions to who? Ellen?
Yeah, just to have Ellen, I want her to provide just two more pieces of information.
Very briefly, we have a lot of people.
Yeah. Number 3 on the nonconformity notice says that you need to get Planning Commission approval before the issuance of a building permit. Are you intending to do that?
Yes, absolutely. We did go to design review and Planning Commission for schematic approval, and we'll be continuing to final approval when ready.
Okay. And when CHN acquired the land, you mentioned the prior development effort. Did CHN know that a use like this one would be impossible without variances?
I honestly cannot speak to that due to my my limited tenure at CHN. I really have only been involved since this development.
Okay. Thank you, and thank you, Madam Chair. Christy Sozio with YWCA and A Place for Me is going to testify next.
Thank you, and I will keep it brief as well. But so our role is we are a collective impact initiative to end and prevent youth and young adult homelessness. And so we really believe that young people who've experienced homelessness are the experts in what needs to happen for us as a community to end youth homelessness. We have young people on our staff with lived experience of homelessness and foster care, one of whom has been working alongside this development every step of the way. And then, as Ellen mentioned, we have a youth action board. And so a little bit of data, in 2020, 512 young adults experienced homelessness in Cuyahoga County. And I would just ask, if you know anyone in the 18 to 24-year-old age range, think about what's going on with them in their lives, in their brains, in their experiences. We know that young people need unique supports in order to thrive and reach adulthood and transition and to meet their goals. And so that is why a development like this is so important, because it has those unique supports for young adults. 50 units still only makes a dent in the 512 who experienced homelessness. And so this will really help move the needle on meeting that need. And we have worked with young adults every step of the way, as a number of folks have mentioned, everywhere from the location of the building to the design of the units, to the common spaces, things like the size of the units, having enough space for something like putting a yoga mat in the living room, or being able to do workout in their own space. When young people are experiencing homelessness, they're on the move, they don't have their own space to practice wellness or store their belongings. And so you really see embedded in these designs every step of the way in specific input from young adults, as well as in the proposed services.
Okay, thank you. Who's next?
Let me ask Christy if I may, if she can talk about.
Mr. Ochner, we need to move through all the people here. I appreciate your Master of Ceremonies job today, but we need to keep going through everyone that needs to speak today. So.
Yep, that's fine. I got it. Next, Brian Grambord of HDNS.
Thank you, Ben. Before I go through the design and the site and building design, I wanted to ask, we had submitted more up-to-date drawings to Ms. Kugla, both for last month and just recently. The ones that we're looking at are all old. They're the initial, I think, zoning application drawings from January, but I believe it doesn't appear you have the new drawings. Is that correct? The ones that we sent.
This is all I have right now.
Okay. Well, it'll suffice. I guess if we could go to the site plan.
Sure. This one or this one?
That one, yes, thank you. To follow up on Ellen and Ben's comment, the third item was a requirement for a 6-foot landscape buffer along East 45th Street between the street right-of-way and the parking lot. Over a month ago, probably close to 6 to 8 weeks, we submitted back to zoning a new site plan showing that that buffer implemented. So just have not received final word on that, but we are willing to comply with that requirement.
Thank you. Brian, quick question: where exactly will the buffer be?
It would be starting at the right of way, the property boundary between right off of East 45th Street, and be 6 feet deep into the property. So that would be our landscape buffer, and just inboard of that would be perimeter fence.
Okay, just wanted to have that for the record. So when we do get the new plans, that'll be on the record here. Okay.
Sure. Sure. So to kind of address directly the other two area variances, you know, this building, which is 3 stories, has 66% of its area as apartments. So, and Richard, who would speak after me, would be able to better describe the hardship for providing this development, building this development with fewer units. But I just wanted to throw that out there. The unit count is what creates kind of the density. And because this is a housing tax credit project through the Ohio Housing Finance Agency, they also restrict or have a minimum unit size requirement for the 1-bedroom and 2-bedroom and efficiency units. And Richard again can speak to the reason why we did not utilize efficiency units. It is better for these at-risk young adults to have a 1-bedroom, have kind of more of a formal apartment. So this is kind of what is driving the size of the building and putting us here today to request these variances. So the density and the size of the building, what I wanted to first start off and talk about is the orientation of the building. So obviously the mass and density could be imposing on the adjacent single family homes, which is why we developed this layout, kind of the Z form of a layout, to minimize the impact of that 3-story building on the adjacent residences. So we wanted to pull the main body of the building away from those homes to lessen that impact and provide more of a buffer and transition. What we're also doing is providing some privacy fencing between those homes and this property, both on the north property line as well as the south property line, which would abut that kind of more commercial or manufacturing use. On the west side, East 45th Street side, as I mentioned, we have our landscape buffer. We do also have a security perimeter fence, a decorative metal fence, but that would be set behind the landscaping to present a more the landscaping as the face of the property. On the east side of the building would be pushed up to the setback, so the building would front along East 47th Street, and set back from that on both the north and the south sides we would have some security fencing on the north side, securing a young children's playground, and then on the on the south side, that's where the parking lot wraps around the building. And we have some a basketball court and resident gardens, kind of separating those uses. Our main entrance to the building is kind of at the bottom left off of the parking lot. There are secondary exits to the building on the East 47th Street side on the right side, but those would not be primary entrances to the building. Trying to minimize the impact of the building on the surrounding neighborhood. Deliveries would be inside the property, inside the secured gated parking lot, and trash collection is all inside the building. So there's no outside dumpster, no smells, no trash being left outside. It's all contained within the building at the bottom right-hand corner. And then on trash days, scheduled pickup times during the day, the trash is wheeled out to East 47th Street for pickup and then immediately wheeled back in. So really, again, trying to minimize the impact of these processes that have sometimes a negative impact on surrounding neighborhood. Two more site items are site lighting. We have full site lighting for the parking lot to provide a secure, safe parking area without any light trespass or light pollution to the surrounding properties. And then we do have building mounted site lighting around the perimeter as well, specifically on East 47th Street to, again, provide that lighted face of the building. And finally, we have security camera system throughout the inside of the building as well as around the entire parcel, including kind of up and down the streets, adding essentially another set of eyes for security just for the neighborhood itself. And we found that that's been a beneficial feature that neighbors, whether business or residences, have benefited from. Working inside the building, off of the main entrance, any guest moves into the building, guest or resident, through the main entrance. And the main entrance is access controlled, and the front desk at that point of entrance is staffed 24/7. There is always staffing on the site, and any access into the building is controlled by that front desk. Yeah, as I mentioned, or as Ellen mentioned, we have 38 one-bedroom units, 12 two-bedroom units. We do have fully accessible apartments and one apartment that is dedicated to residents with audio or visual impairment.
Great, thank you very much. Who's speaking next?
And Keone rates from Frontline Services.
Okay, go ahead, Keone.
Hello, good morning. Just very briefly, I understand we're strapped for time. Frontline Service is planning on being the primary supportive service for the clients or the residents in this development. We understand that most of our residents are going to be dealing with life transitions, family transitions, work, mental health. So we're just here to provide support. There will be a staff person that is designated at this building 40 hours a week, as well as myself overseeing programs, activities, and the counseling and supportive services, in addition to case management. So we're just trying to wrap around them. It's not just putting them in a place and making sure that alleviates all of the issues, but we're also working on the ground level so that we can equip them with skills and tools to be able to exit homelessness permanently, and that this is not a quick fix.
Thank you. Who's next, please?
Yeah, hi, my name
like-
is Richard Carr. I am
There you go.
Director of Real Estate Development Construction for Eden. Madam Chair, members of the board, thank you for your time this morning. As stated, we're seeking multiple variances for the project and for the development. Eden is a 501c3. We are the property managers, co-developers with CHN, and owners of this development. This is our 12th building in the city of Cleveland on the permanent supportive housing type of development, whereas the people that live in these facilities sign 12-month leases. And they are residents at these facilities to stay as long as they want. Typically, we
calculate the number of units based on the cash flow of the property and the viability of the property to sustain its useful life for a 30-year period. So this building is no different from that type of model. Our typical buildings in the Cleveland market are around 65 units, where we have found that those buildings provide enough cash flow in order for them to basically break even throughout their lifespan. So as stated, this building is no different from the other ones, in as much that its economic viability is determined by that. So this is a 50-unit development, 38 one-bedrooms, 12 two-bedroom units, where the area is determined by a calculation as dictated by the Ohio Housing and Finance, as well as this calculation that determines the cash flow needs for the building. So we can't go any smaller because the economic viability doesn't exist, and we can't go any bigger because we feel that, well, first off, that the variance, the codified ordinance won't allow us to get any bigger than where we're at, and that the facility is adequate in order as designed. So I will end by stating that it would be impossible to yield a rate of return without the variances that we seek.
Thank you. Who's next to speak?
Next would be Bob Brown.
Mr. Brown, go ahead.
Okay, I think I'm unmuted now. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Good. Okay. The portion of the St. Clair Superior neighborhood in which the proposed project is located, I would say, is characterized by relatively dense mixed-use development. The proposed multifamily development is fully compatible with the character of the neighborhood. The proposed project's density in terms of the building's floor area, coverage of the lot, is consistent with the character of the nearby development. In fact, the amount of land proposed for landscaping, which I know you haven't seen, although was submitted along both East 45th and East 47th Street, and just west of the proposed residential building, provides more green space than most of the nearby development sites do. In the current case, the requested zoning variance is necessary to enable the owner to develop a permitted 3-story apartment building on this site in a manner that's consistent with the character of the surrounding area. Considering the facts and the analysis to a reasonable degree of my certainty, based on my extensive experience overall and my familiarity with the Cleveland zoning code and its application over the past decades, it's my considered opinion that the applicant faces practical difficulties in developing its proposed use on account of the size, shape, and other characteristics of the property and the adjoining properties, which differentiate it from others in the same district. Based on the testimony that you have heard, moreover, and especially in light of the facts that the proposed use is permitted and harmonious with the surrounding areas, and that it satisfies the most substantive applicable zoning requirements, the denial of the requested variances will deprive the owner of substantial property rights. Granting of the proposed variance will not be contrary to the purpose or intent of the zoning code. And in addition to these considerations regarding the standards for granting of a variance in the Cleveland Code, the granting of the requested variance is also consistent with the following judicial standards established by Ohio in the Duncan versus Middlefield case, which I'm sure you've heard before. I won't go through those. I've submitted those in writing. It will take a while to go through them, but the fact is that we believe that those standards in the Duncan versus the Middlefield case are met. So just in conclusion, considering the facts and the analysis that's discussed that we've just discussed, and once again to a reasonable degree of certainty based on my extensive experience overall and my familiarity with the Cleveland Zoning Code and its application over the past decades, I also conclude that applying the 2,400 square feet of lot area per dwelling unit requirement is unreasonable when applied to this particular development. The gross area of the development to 50% of the lot area is also unreasonable in this particular case. And in conclusion, overall, it would be unreasonable for the Board of Zoning Appeals to deny the request of variances. Accordingly, I would recommend that Cleveland's Board of Zoning Appeals grant the requested zoning variances with respect to the building's floor area coverage of the lot area and the associated minimum lot area dwelling unit, per dwelling unit to allow for the use proposed by the applicant. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Brown. Is there anyone else that you have Ben that wants to speak on your list?
There's nobody else on the list. I was just going to ask if Ellen had anything to add.
No, Ben, thank you.
Okay. Then
great.
That concludes.
Okay. Mr. Weingart, are you a neighbor?
I am a resident of the neighborhood, yes.
Okay, yes. Would you like to speak, please?
Yeah, I'd just like to make a few comments. I'm a little taken back that while this proposal, I think, serves a good cause, that the neighborhood residents haven't been consulted on this project. It's not a very large neighborhood. We're a very tight-knit community. It's a quiet neighborhood. There's a lot of families with children in the area, and the proposal will put up what will appear to be a prison-like facility with fencing around it and playgrounds and basketball courts that the children will not have access to in the neighborhood. It's primarily a residential neighborhood, as I said, with families, and this is going to be a large structure that does not fall in line with the aesthetics of the neighborhood that we live in. There are mixed use facilities in the area. There's a lot of abandoned buildings, and creating a brand new one in the middle of a residential neighborhood, I don't think serves the neighborhood beneficially.
Okay, thank you. I'll bring the councilman in now. Maybe he can address some of that.
Thank you, Chairwoman Britt. CHN held a meeting on the site. Flyers were passed out to the neighborhood, and I believe they went back and did some door-to-door knocking, talking to residents. They did reach out to me to let me know that they were going out to the neighborhood to knock and to talk directly with residents and business owners to talk about their proposed use of the property. There has been many concerns that have come up regarding this property, some of which have been directed to me as a councilman, and I have spoken with CHN. Every issue that I've received from residents on both streets and others neighboring streets, I've sent directly to Kate, and she has responded, as I know of, to each of those individuals directly and have addressed some of their concerns. Naturally, I understand the hesitation because when they first brought it to me, I had some concerns as well, but we have since talked through some of my concerns. But as I told CHN, that it's important that they connect with the folks who live there and who may have some concerns, and I believe that they have done so. Now, do I believe everyone has been engaged who lives in the area? No, which would be really quite difficult to do, to have everyone at the same place every time. But however, I believe that they have made a good attempt to connect with the residents there. But if there is still concerns from individuals who live there, I would strongly urge CHN to follow up with some of those residents, including Mr. Weingart, who's there, to address concerns that he may have regarding the project. With that being said, I'm not opposed to the variance because this is only one piece of the pie in order to move this forward. And there's still a lot of time to work with CHN and the developers to, as some would say, get it right. Okay, so I would again recommend that they continue their discussions with the residents if there is any questions or concerns.
Thank you, Councilman. I have also sworn in. I have Ms. Zozio and Glasgow. Would you all like to say anything?
I spoke earlier. Thank you.
Okay. And Glasgow?
No, Keone took care of the front line. I was just here in case there were more questions about the services. Thank you.
Thank you. Maurice, is anyone here from City Planning?
Well, we did have Kim Scott, but she had to leave us, so she left me a statement to read, if you like.
Yes.
City Planning enthusiastically supports this project as it does fill a unique need for a special population. The one thing that it adds to the residential fabric is to create a buffer between the semi-industrial uses fronting Superior and the single-family homes on the interior of 45th and 47th Streets. Additionally, for those residents without cars, it is advantageous for this to be situated close to Superior Avenue with good access to the bus lines. And we also, it looks like we have Ms. Kukla with her hand raised.
Well, we have, before we go to
So we
Ms.
support
Kukla,
this.
yeah, I see we have, thank you. I see we have Ellen. Did you need to have a response? Or are you okay?
Thank you so much, Madam Chair. I just had one clarification from what Councilman Hairston had said. And that was just that following our initial community meeting, rather than going in person door to door, we sent letters with my contact information and offers for continued communications, which we did get some responses on. So I just wanted to clarify that we did not go in person door to door. It was a mailing, but that we're still available to continue those conversations. Thank you.
Thank you. Take note of Mr. Weingart. You might want to reach out to him just to talk to him about his concerns. Okay, Ms. Kukla.
I have an objection letter from Silvana Brentar from SMB Properties. They state that, please be advised that I object to the building of a 50-unit transitional housing structure for the following reasons. This building will create traffic issues. The building being so near to the home that I own will lower my property value. The building will probably create a parking shortage in the area. There will be too many people living in a confined area. Her name is, again, Silvana Brentar, and she owns the properties at 1385 East 45th Street and 1383 East 45th Street. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. That'll be another resident that you all can reach out to talk about her concerns as well. Okay. I think we've heard from everyone here. Board, you should not have any questions, but if you do, this is your time. So go ahead.
Looks like
Madam
Ms.
Chair,
Brown
I
has
think
her
we
hand
covered
raised.
a lot of things.
Oh,
I'm sorry. Did our new board member have a question? I yield the floor to our new board member.
Thank you. This
very
is
gracious
Terry
of you.
Hamilton Brown, and in light of the comment that Mr. Weingart, I think, made about the size and fortress-like impression that he had for the design, I have a question about the 6-foot-high fence, and I don't need a lot of discussion, but would like that to be considered if that's absolutely necessary for security.
Yeah, thank you for that comment. I would generally defer to Richard Carr from Eden, who has other facilities like this, but we have also done some due diligence and reached out to other transition age youth buildings, facilities throughout the state of Ohio. And a secured lot we've found to be necessary to provide a safe and secure home for these at-risk individuals. So, a standard kind of residential 3-foot or 4-foot fence just does not provide that type of security.
Thank you.
And just to follow up with that question, if I may, I believe you indicated, Brian, that you were going to have a privacy fence on one perimeter, and that the remaining perimeters of fencing were going to be a decorative metal fencing. So I'm assuming that's going to be that the privacy fence is going to be wooden board on board, and the other fence is going to be black metal with at least 50% opacity. Is that correct?
Absolutely, yeah. Any fencing visible from either East 47th Street or East 45th Street would be a very open, decorative black metal fence. And anywhere, like I was mentioning, on the north property or the south property, immediately adjacent those other parcels, we would want to provide that privacy fence, whether it's board on board or a vinyl privacy fence. Again, trying to provide that privacy for those single family homes.
Great. Thank you for clarifying that.
Mm-hmm.
With that, Madam Chair, I would go ahead and
Madam Chair, this is Liz Kukla. I'm sorry, Ms.
Go
Faith,
ahead,
to
Liz.
interrupt. I am not sure that the Building and Housing saw the location of this 6-foot tall decorative fence. Otherwise, it would have been part of the notice of nonconformance. Or maybe I'm reading the site plan wrong, but it looks like the fencing goes all the way down to the property line and will run parallel with the sidewalk, or is it going to be set back that 30 feet?
No, it would be set back for the entire length of the parcel along East 45th Street. And that's what I was mentioning at the beginning. We had submitted at least 6 weeks, probably closer to 2 months ago, a revised site plan to zoning to address this item. And actually the files that I had sent you for last month's presentation also reflected that. I'm not sure. There must have been some communication error. Yeah, there is a landscape buffer along East 45th Street as required, and the fence would be set back behind that.
Thank you. If you could send that revised drawing again. I did search my inbox and I didn't see it.
Sure.
I don't know if it came from you or from another person, but
Yep.
appreciate it to send it again. Thanks.
I will do that immediately after this.
Thank you. Ms. Faith, if you were going with the motion, just make sure we stipulate that we'll need new plans.
Yep, absolutely. And just to clarify, item number 2 is the variance that relates to the landscape strip, and that has been fulfilled. So that is an item that we do not have to make judgment on. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And where do we stand with city planning approval? Have you been to city planning?
We've
Yes,
received
I believe they have.
preliminary schematic approval from both design review and city planning. So our intention is to return to both of those bodies and get final approval.
Okay, great. All right. With that, Madam Chair, let's go ahead and make a motion. Calendar number 21-132, we're looking at item number 1. Item number 2 has been removed. Item number 3 is pending City Planning Commission approval. So I move, given the testimony, the extensive testimony and incredibly well prepared testimony that we've heard today, statements by Councilman Hairston and City Planning, and we've had a couple of objections. So we're looking for a CHN representative to reach out to those individuals. And we are also awaiting a second submission of the revised plans that indicate that item number 2 has been satisfied. So with that, Madam Chair, I move that we go ahead and approve this variance.
Have a second. Thank you, Ms. Barnes. Thank you. Call the roll, please, Ms. Kukla.
Ms. Barnes? Ms. Barnes?
Yes, yes.
Thank you. Ms. Faith?
Yes.
Ms. Brown?
Yes.
Ms. Britt?
Yes.
Calendar number 21-132 is granted conditionally, noting that the only variance that we are granting in this case is section 355.04. And also it is based upon the revised final site plan. And once we receive that revised final site plan, it'll be ratified the Monday after that, and then we will send you a letter.
Thank you very much. I'll send that immediately.
Thank you to everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good luck, everyone.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks. Bye-bye.
Okay, shifting back, Madam Chair, to calendar number 21-140 at 2054 Fulton Road. AFR Houses LLC owner proposes to establish use as a restaurant in a B3 two-family residential district. The owner appeals for relief from the strict application of the Cleveland Codified Ordinances as stated in the agenda and the public record, of which there are 2. All right, moving on. All those that are going to make testimony and statements with regard to case number 21-140, I'm going to ask you to raise your right hand. I'm going to read an oath. Following the oath, your response will be, "I do," and then you'll state your name and your address for the record. So here we go. Please raise your right hand. I do swear or affirm that the testimony I am about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth. Do we have persons present for this case?
I do.
Yes.
Matthew Moss, City Planning.
Thank you, Matt. Next.
Hi, Andrew Irusi from the Dallid Group, the property owner representing. Address is 6055 Rockside Woods Boulevard in Independence.
Thank you, Andrew. Anyone else?
I do. Paula Miller, 2082 Fulton Road, Cleveland.
Thank you, Paula. Next. Is there anyone else?
Doesn't
All
appear
right.
to be.
I'm sorry?
I said it doesn't appear to be.
All right. Thank you, Maurice. Madam Chair, to you.
Thank you. History of the property, please.
Madam Chair, this is Liz, and I do notice that there is one call-in user. Just to remind any of the call-in users to unmute themselves to use star and number 6. The history of this property is there's been no change in the zoning since 1929. I didn't find any records for this in the Records Administration Office. There are no variances on file. I did see that in the recent history in the Acela system that there were yearly food licenses issued to this address from 2005 to 2018. But then in December of last year, a permit was issued to repair a porch floor and railing, the roof gutters, and replace 12 windows or repair 12 windows of a single family home. And that's all that I have, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Legal standard, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the board. Appellant is requesting a use variance and area variances from the off-street parking requirements of the zoning code. To obtain the use variance, appellant must prove that denying the request will result in an unnecessary hardship particular to the property, such that there will be no economically feasible use of the property without the variance, will deprive the appellant of substantial property rights, and that granting the variance will not be contrary to the purpose and intent of the zoning code. To obtain the area variance, appellant must prove that denying the request will create a practical difficulty not generally shared by other land or buildings in the same district, will deprive the appellant of substantial property rights, and the granting the variance will not be contrary to the purpose and intent of the zoning code.
Thank you. Who's going to be the spokesperson for this case?
I will be Andrew Irusi again from the Dallid Group.
Okay, Andrew, go ahead.
Okay, so to give you some background, Dallid is a local real estate company based in Independence. We do a lot of work in the city of Cleveland. Most recently, we just completed the redevelopment historic tax credit project of the Tinnerman Lofts, which is highlighted here on the site plan. That's the property highlighted in orange that basically wraps on 3 sides the property that we're talking about today. Tinnerman Lofts is a 51-unit apartment complex. Our company purchased this property at 2054 as a complementary component. It was most recently the West Side branch for for the VFW. So it operated as such for quite some time. I'm not sure when they started there. I believe sometime in maybe the 70s. But when we presented, Tinnerman had always discussed this being a potential complementary sort of retail, restaurant, cafe type of use that we'd like to put in the house, knowing that we would require a variance. So today, after completing the project, Tinnerman Lofts again, we've identified a user and have a lease signed. The restaurant is Cha. I believe she calls it Cha Pizza and Spirits and Pizza Kitchen. Some people may be familiar with Cha. It has operated in 2 other locations in the past on the near west side of Cleveland, most recently in Ohio City on Whitman Street. And prior to that, they were in Battery Park in the powerhouse where Terrestrial Brewing is now located. So the variance request today is to grant the ability to put the restaurant in the space, despite that it was most recently used by the VFW. It had a full service bar that we're repurposing and a lot of kind of kitchen spaces. They hosted a lot of events there, but I guess they didn't have to get a change of use maybe. So it still sits today as a 2-family structure in a 2-family zone. Again, it's a budding Tinnerman Lofts, which is actually in a limited industrial zone parcel. We had come to the board a little over a year ago for variances on that that were accommodated. The restaurant, just to give you a little bit more kind of flavor on it, the house is between the first and the second floor. The occupiable space that the restaurant will use is about 2,700 square feet. The second floor is really meant to be, and I think there may be some plans here. Yeah, so if you can see the first floor plan there on the left, second floor on the right. So the first floor is the main day-to-day operating servicing space. Again, we're repurposing that bar that the VFW had built there on the left side of the plan. Creating kind of an entry foyer. And then just behind that is the primary dining room there in the middle of the house. And then the kitchen behind it with 2 restrooms. The seating capacity total that's shown on the plans is 75. However, the operator's intent for the second floor, where you see tables upstairs, is to really use that predominantly as private event space. So if somebody wants to host a small business party, small wedding. And then there's another room there at the front of the house that has a 10-seat table, again, for private reservation. So the day-to-day space is really all on the first floor. There is additionally proposed a deck patio that's going to be constructed on the left side of the plan there. That'll add about another 20-some seats. But again, staying within that kind of 75 occupant max range, just based on the size of the kitchen. That's about all that could really be supported by this restaurant. This structure, just to give you a little more history on what we've done since we purchased it, there was some asphalt siding that was covering the original wood siding. The roof was in pretty bad shape. The prior porch was in pretty bad shape. So Ms. Kukla referenced some permits that were pulled to do exterior improvements. So that first picture shows as it looks today. We've conditioned the whole exterior, exposed the original siding, repaired, patched it, replaced the majority of the windows, and as well built the porch on the front again. So and there is, you can see the bottom picture on the left there. That is a little patio that will sit between Tinnerman Lofts and the restaurant. It's got a pizza oven. So the restaurant during the warmer months of the year would be able to use that as an additional kind of outdoor kitchen.
Okay.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
looking at the drawings, they show that there's a stage also on the front being built there, abutting Fulton Road. I don't know if we have anybody here from Building and Housing to address that, or maybe the appellant could let us know, is this going to be live entertainment?
Yeah, so it's definitely something we've addressed. By the way, we have presented this to the local block club and gained their support as well. I believe an email was sent to Ms. Kukla voicing that support, and I'm pretty certain the councilman as well is in support of the project. This was a point that came up in those discussions that we had identified what is called a stage here, and it's not intended to be a kind of loud music live performance thing. It's really kind of a, we were thinking if that patio was an event space, you know, it could be a place where a table could be set up for gifts. It could be set up for someone to give a toast, and perhaps, you know, if allowed, we could have maybe a small kind of you know, musical performance or even a speaker to an event out there. So so yeah, that is the intent of it.
And Madam Chair, this seems as though it should have been something that was on the notice of nonconformance. Is there anyone here from Building and Housing that can address this? Has the code changed in allowing these somehow with the restaurants?
I don't see anybody from Building and Housing unless the call-in user is either Rick or Chuck.
Use *6 to unmute yourself. Well, Madam Chair, to our attorney, it seems like this is something that throws a wrench in the whole process here. It looks like live entertainment is proposed and it was not caught on the notice of nonconformance.
I don't have, I mean, that's something that Building and Housing should review. I don't have immediate access to know if different variances are required. I believe they are under the zoning code. Wasn't Chuck going to be here today? I think
That's what we were hoping.
if nobody's here from Building and Housing and they're indicating they want live entertainment, then I think we need to re-advertise and continue this.
Can I make a request as representing the applicant? Could we remove that from, you know, or put some sort of language in the approval, if you grant approval, that that piece of it would have to come back if we were ever to use that as a stage. So just focus on the change of use for the restaurant and the parking variance as well. Is that possible?
Yeah, we can do that.
Madam Chair, we do have Chuck Okoye that just entered my office. I guess he's having some difficulty unmuting himself. So I don't know if you want to pop in the screen here and give your.
I feel like Chuck's going to tell us what we already know, but.
Yeah,
Okay.
you don't have to use the phone, right?
Okay. Good morning, Madam Chair, the board, and everybody.
Morning, Chuck.
Chuck Okoye, Building and Housing. Yeah, once there is an entertainment is not permitted in two-family district. It's first permitted in general retail district.
So it would have to be added to the notice of nonconformance.
Huh?
It would have to be added to the notice of nonconformance.
Yes. I believe that when Rick was writing this up, he didn't know that there would be any sort of entertainment.
Okay, thank you, Chuck. Andrew, so are you okay with removing that piece? And if you decide you want to do live entertainment, that you'll have to bring it back?
Yeah, that's absolutely fine. I'll speak to the business owner. She actually had hoped to be participating on the call, but had a family issue that came up. But if it's critical, we'll come back. It may not be.
Okay. All right. We have a resident, Ms. Miller, on the call.
Yes, Madam Chair, thank you. I am a resident. I live 2 doors down from this property at 2082 Fulton Road. I'm also one of the owners of this property. I'm unfortunately was not able to see the plans ahead of time because no plans were sent out to the surrounding property owners. As far as I know, it didn't come with the notice. So I'm seeing all of this for the first time. And I just want to state, you know, that I am opposed to this because this, you know, is an inappropriate space for a restaurant. A restaurant in this space will only bring more people, cars, and lack of parking on Fulton Road. It is already extremely difficult to find parking on Fulton Road. And with the addition of the new units at the Vista building and other surrounding new businesses, we are already experiencing difficulty in finding off-street parking in front of our houses, and difficulty with an increased traffic and people in the neighborhood. So any increase in traffic on Fulton Road, is already going to make it even more dangerous than it is for both drivers and pedestrians.
Is it working now?
There's increased
Okay, thank you.
accidents already on this road, and adding another destination to this block, an area will make it even more dangerous. With that, I would urge you to deny this variance. Yeah, I would just urge you to deny this relief from this variance for the safety and tranquility of our neighborhood. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Miller. Okay, Matt Moss.
Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the board. I want to speak to both parts of the variance. I think the use in the two-family district is relevant given the use of this building. It seems from the history of the property that the applicant and Ms. Kukla were able to provide that it's been used as assembly space for a long time. I'm not sure if it was originally built as assembly space, but the VFW hall, we have several neighborhoods in the Near West Side that have veterans halls like this. There are several that are active in Tremont, and many of them were installed in spaces like this. So it seems like this building has been used for a very long time as not as a residence, but as a place of assembly. And second of all, to the parking variance, I'm supportive of that variance. I can provide some reasons as to why. A few years ago, we were involved in the planning and road reconfiguration of Fulton Road. And this segment of Fulton, we long scrutinized this with residents, with the councilman, with the development corporation as to whether it was appropriate here to stripe bike lanes or to stripe parking on the street. We ultimately decided to stripe parking lanes on the street in order to support parking availability for existing local businesses and residents, but existing businesses like La Borancana, the grocery store down the street, and to support the reactivation and the reuse of buildings just off of Lorraine. In addition to that, RTA system redesign for bus service puts 30-minute service on Fulton and 15-minute service on Lorraine. And this location's about a 1-minute walk from the corner of Lorraine and Fulton with access to that bus service. In addition, we're working right now on a plan to rebuild Lorraine with separated cycle track facilities to encourage more people to access businesses, access destinations, their homes, and to commute via bike and get more people out of their cars and onto the street. So for all those reasons, I think under the code, the Board of Zoning Appeals is told to review parking variances as to whether they have an adverse effect upon traffic or upon the neighborhood. And I think that occupying this building would benefit the neighborhood in terms of providing more activity to the street, making it safer, making it more comfortable, making it more lively. But that's my perspective as the neighborhood planner. Thank you.
Thank you, Matt. Liz, it has been testified that the councilman supports this project. Gotten a letter from him at all?
No, I don't have a letter from him.
Okay.
Madam Chair, he also mentioned about a block club. Do you have a letter for the block club?
I am looking for that. I'm not sure who I would be receiving that from. I did type in, what is it, Fulton, Lorraine Fulton, and I haven't seen anything yet.
Andrew, what's the block club you went to?
Yeah, so that was the Fulton, Solo, south of Lorraine Block Club. And
Okay.
I'm trying to find that email now that was sent to Ms. Kukla. It came from the chair of the block club. The councilman was copied on it. Julia Berkman-Seek on July 12th sent an email. I can read it. Last week, the South of Lorraine Block Club met with the participant from Fulton Road. That's right. It was 2 block clubs actually, South of Lorraine and Fulton Lorraine Bailey. So with participation from the Fulton Lorraine Bailey Block Club as well, we met jointly to discuss the new restaurant proposal in the former VFW space at 2054 Fulton Road, adjacent to the Tinderman Lofts renovation. The group was presented with initial drawings, and Susan, that's the restaurant owner operator, shared her vision for the space. There were questions around live music going late, but that was the only concern. There were no major concerns around parking. We'd love to see them partner with Metro Dental Space, and absolutely no concerns around the liquor license. The group was very supportive of the project and is excited to see the transformation of the space continue. Thank you for including us in the process. Julia Seek, Solo Block Club Chair. She did reference, by the way, a Metro Dental clinic parking arrangement that we are trying to work on with representatives from Metro Hospital. If I could just also point out to, for what it's worth, the Tinnerman Lofts building, again, under common ownership, we have 51 units in there. We've created 65 off-street parking spaces for that building. So while we don't have dedicated off-street parking for this part of what we see as kind of a combined project, we made an effort to keep all the residents off the streets.
Thank you. Board, we've heard from everyone. Do you have any questions? Or I'll entertain a motion.
Thanks, Madam Chair. Just a couple things. Do we have a bike rack in the plans, Andrew?
Yeah, so that is you don't see it on the plan, but I can tell you that we are definitely putting a bike rack. There's an area kind of to the left of the stage. We've got about 10 feet from the sidewalk to that little building there. We plan on putting a bike rack with it, pretty much as many bikes as we can into that little nook.
So it's a little building. Is it like a bike box then?
Yeah, so that building there is an outdoor seasonal restroom building. So that if there is, if there's that patio is being used for an event, that somebody who's sitting outside rather than having to go into the building could go to that space.
Okay. And your discussions about the parking, how soon are you going to finalize the agreement with them?
We've been kind of asking them to move it along with us. Clearly, they have a lot of bigger things going on at their organization. So we're trying as hard as we can. We're also trying to connect with both the owner of the Planet Fitness across the street, who has a pretty sizable parking lot on the other side of Fulton and Lorraine intersection. And as well, there's a church across from this house that has about 12 or 15 spaces. So we're exploring every avenue we can to create a shared parking arrangement, at least for evenings and weekends. Susan, the operator of the restaurant, has said her clientele, which she expects she'll get a lot of her old clientele back. They tend to be neighborhood residents. It's very much a neighborhood kind of restaurant. So we do feel like we're going to attract a lot of people that'll be walking and biking, but still know that there's a need for some parking.
Given city planning, Mr. Moss's testimony with regard to walkability and public transit access, that's going to help you out a lot. But typically in these situations, we like to see some sort of contract with, some off-street parking with a third party for you. So if that were a stipulation in our agreement to approve this, would you be able to supply that in a timely manner so we could finalize your ratification within a week's time?
I can try my best. Unfortunately, I'm at the mercy a little bit of that organization or those organizations, and we've struggled, to hold their attention on the topic. I know Metro was, aside from having, their main campus project, was pretty busy just trying to get this open. The dental clinic closes at, I believe, 4 or maybe it's 5. So, and then it's just a big empty parking lot. So we're hopeful that with, some encouragement maybe from the CDC and some local participants, that they'll agree to do it. So,
and what are, because I suspect that we're going to want to make that a stipulation. So that might.
Well, we don't necessarily.
Madam Chair.
Yeah, we don't have to.
All right. That's fine.
Madam Chair, we have Matthew Moss and Paula also with their hands raised.
Okay. And finally, another question. What exactly are the hours of operation going to be?
I wish Susan were here. I can send a reply to the appropriate person with that confirmed. My guess is that during the week, maybe at 10 p.m. would be the latest, maybe not even. Perhaps on the weekends, an hour or two later.
Okay, so that's something you could get sent in to us then.
I could, yes.
All right, great. Okay, those are my questions, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Ms. Miller, you want to say something else?
Yeah, I just had a question. Is it possible then to add in a stipulation or a requirement that would allow the residents on like between Chatham and Lorraine in that part of Fulton to have permit parking so that we could not lose our parking spaces? Which will happen. Some of us don't have off-street parking. Off-street parking. So just wondering if that's a possibility.
Yeah, sorry, no, we can't stipulate residential parking right now. You have to go through the proper channels through the city to try to get that for your area.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
We don't have jurisdiction here, but thank you for your question.
Okay.
And Matt, did you want to say something else before we wrapped up?
Yeah, I just wanted to mention the contrast between the dental clinic in a space like this, where the dental clinic really, when they came through for approval, they're in a local landmarks district, and they needed an exception from the PRO requirement in order to have a parking lot the size that they have. And I think while it would encourage Andrew to keep discussing with them to better utilize that parking when the dental clinic is closed for customers of this space or even just anyone visiting the area, we always encourage property owners with parking lots to share that resource, especially in urban neighborhoods. But that's a real contrast, I think, to this use where on the corner of Lorraine and Fulton, we have a building that really has a parking lot that's even bigger than the structure itself, that for a great deal of time during the day in its existence in the neighborhood is underutilized or just plain empty. So I think that's a really stark contrast between a use here that's looking to activate this space and fill it with people. I know that that's not always viewed as a positive thing by everyone, but this is really activating this space and making it a useful space for people to enjoy their lives. And I think there's a lot of value in that our code doesn't always recognize.
Great, thanks, Matt. I will entertain a motion.
Okay, Madam Chair, were you comfortable with not requiring a contract for parking?
I am for this, yes.
Okay, great.
If they acquire one, definitely send it to us, but I think we should just go forward.
Okay, that's fine. Great. So, Madam Chair, with the testimony that we've heard today and the agreement by the agent for the appellant to add the bike rack and to supply us the hours of operation, I move that we go ahead and approve the variance for calendar number 21-140.
Second.
Thank you. Call the roll.
Madam Chair, would you like a revised drawing showing that the stage is going to be removed?
Yes, thank you for saying that. I forgot all about that part. Yes.
Thank you, Liz. Yes.
And the appellant agrees. And the appellant agrees to that.
Yes.
Yeah, he did.
Thank you. So I'll call the roll. Ms. Barnes?
Yes.
Ms. Faith?
Yes.
Ms. Brown?
Yes.
Ms. Britt?
Yes.
Calendar 21-140 is granted conditionally. If the resolution will state that there will be no live entertainments, that bike racks will be provided, and we will wait for the hours of operation to be provided as well as the revised drawing. Once we receive those things, we'll ratify this and send you a letter.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is this is on our agenda for today?
Yes.
I know I don't have that one.
Liz,
Oh.
is this correct?
I have it.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
Of West 6th Street. It's on page 4.
Yeah, I must have an older version. I don't have this. Okay, go ahead.
All right, off we go. Calendar number 21-109. This case was postponed from August 2nd, 2021. The address is 3912 East 155th Street. Rita and Jesse Davidson, owners, proposed to establish use as a residential facility for 6 occupants in an A1 one-family residential district. The owner appeals for relief from the strict application of the Cleveland Codified Ordinances as stated in the agenda and the public record, of which there are 2. The case was originally postponed to allow time for the appellant to talk to the councilman and Marka Fields, the representative from City Planning, and the applicant was to submit operations information. I believe that was at the request of one of our board members. So that's the reading of the case. For all those wishing to make testimony on case number 21-109, I'm going to ask you to raise your right hand. I'm going to read an oath. Following the oath, your response will be, I do, and then you'll state your name and your address. So here we go. Please raise your right hand. I do swear or affirm that the testimony I'm about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth.
I do. Rita Davidson, 3912 East 155th Street, Cleveland, Ohio, 44128.
Thank you, Rita. Anyone else? Okay, Madam Chair, back to you.
Thank you. We've had the history already. Legal standard, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the board. Appellant is requesting a use variance and an area variance from the distance requirements of the zoning code. To obtain the use variance, appellant must prove that denying the request will result in an unnecessary hardship particular to the property, such there will be no economically feasible use of the property without the variance, will deprive appellant of substantial property rights, and the granting the variance will not be contrary to the purpose and intent of the zoning code. And I should say, if the appellant was asking for a residential facility for 5 people, then the distance requirements would be in place. Since they're asking for 6 people, that's not a permitted use in the district at all. And so that's really the use variance standard is the one that's applicable. The board may want to consider the distance to other unrelated facilities, but that's not a variance that's applicable if there's 6 people.
Okay, Ms. Davidson, have you talked to the councilman and or the planner?
I did, and we changed that item the last time down to 5 residents for the home. And I was told to have a plan for you all when I come back, which I did, meaning the sex of the gender of the residents that will be living in the home, which it will be a female-based facility geared towards MHD. The ages will be in between 21 to 60. Why the age gap is so big? Because MHD doesn't have an age on it. So that's why I went with 21 to ages 60. I did speak with the Councilman Jones on August the 20th about what I'm trying to do with the location. It wasn't a strong no, but it wasn't a yes neither. He gave me some things to do, which was to get out, talk to the community, even get a petition and get signatures of the residents of the community to let them know what I'm trying to do with the home. I did that. I got over 100 signatures, and before he even let me know that, I took the initiative myself to type up a letter and put in the mailboxes of my neighbors so I can let them know what I'm trying to do, asking them for critiques, any type of help along the way if they have anything they're against when it comes to having this type of home. I did try to set up another appointment with Councilman Jones to show him the signatures. I spoke with him. He informed me that as of now, his main focus was the election. And after election, we can move forward with him setting up a meeting for the community, which I responded to him. I said, well, you didn't tell me that. Why was I out here doing all the walking to get the signatures? But anyway, that's what he told me. So I did exactly what he said. And this is why I'm here. And you guys want to know how many staff members will be in attendance. I will have 3 staffs on hand, 2 full-time employees, 1 part-time. The home will supply 3 meals a day, snacks in between, recreational things to do. If they need any type of doctor's appointments, how they would get there, I will be the transporter. We will transport them to and from their appointments. If any type of therapy or whatever may be needed, we are to get in touch with their case managers who will be in control of them to get those things in order so they can have the proper tools to start adjusting and get to whatever they may be trying to do, meaning not being homeless anymore, getting their mental under control. And those are the things I went out and talked to my neighborhood about.
Okay, thank you. Liz or Maurice, do we have anything from Marka?
I do not have anything additional from Marka at this point.
Can I say something?
Madam Chair?
We'll hear from Lori first, and then we'll go back to you.
I want to clarify, if there are only 5 residents here, then the legal standard I read for a use variance is not applicable. And the only thing the board needs to determine is whether to grant an area variance, because there are apparently 2 other residential facilities within 1,000 feet. So I just felt it was important to clarify that for the record.
Thank you, Lori.
It would only be number 2 in the variance, is correct?
Yes. Go ahead, Ms. Davidson. You had something else?
Yeah, and I also wanted to add that having these homes, you don't have to be certified or anything. You can hire experienced people to actually run the home. But I took the initiative to actually go to the classes and get certified in the behaviors I will be experiencing and any type of abuse I may be noticing, so I can know how to handle these people. I also am CPR certified, and I just plan on making it a home setting for these people, meaning that sometimes if they feel like they have somewhere secure and some type of stability, that they don't have to act like the majority. So I'm really focusing on their mental health and hopefully doing something great for them and the community. So that's what else I wanted to add to this.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Davidson.
You're welcome.
So we have no position from city planning then?
City planning is reluctant to understands the request. We're happy that you're reducing it to 5. I guess I'm reluctant to have the applicant wait until after the election.
Yeah.
To move forward with this. So I don't think we can object to this. I'm not necessarily supporting it, but we do not object to it either.
Great, thank you. Board, questions, motion?
Madam Chair, I agree with Maurice that we should maybe wait for 2 weeks if it's okay with the applicant and then come back.
No, he was saying we shouldn't wait for the election, and I agree. We shouldn't hold up. We shouldn't hold up.
Well, and it depends on what election. I mean, there's election, on the 14th, but that's only the primary, and then we'd have to wait all the way. Yeah, we'd have to wait till November for the general election. So that's what I was basing my thought on.
Yeah, and it wouldn't be fair to her to make her wait that long for
Correct.
an
You
election.
are
And I
correct.
did
And
want
she
to
has,
add something. I apologize,
Hold
but
on,
I
Ms. Davis.
did.
Ms.
Oh,
Davidson,
I'm sorry.
yeah, the
I
board's
just wanted to say
deliberating
that
for a minute. Yeah, so hold on for a sec.
she did supply the petitions with quite a few signatures on them.
Mm-hmm. Okay, go ahead, Ms. Davidson. Make it brief.
I did talk with Marka Fields through email. That person did send me a request of what they were asking of me, and I did respond with a detailed email as to what they were asking from me. That's what I wanted to say.
Okay, thank you.
Which I believe is this right here, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, because
Right.
it says to mark up. Okay. Okay, board, any questions, or I'll entertain a motion?
Do any of my other board members have questions? No? All right. Madam Chair, given the testimony, we had requested of the applicant to do quite a good deal of due diligence. It seems to me that she has fulfilled the expectations that we were asking her to do. In looking at the map, she is in the intersection of the two other group homes, but in a rather peripheral location to them. So with that in mind, I think we can go ahead, and I would motion to approve calendar number 21-109.
Second.
Thank you. Call the roll, please, Ms. Cooper.
Ms. Barnes?
Yes.
Ms. Vaith?
I just want to, before I vote, I neglected to say that in the motion that it is for 5 occupants, not 6.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So
good clarification. Thank you.
yeah, just for clarification.
Also, single sex female.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you. Yeah. So with those stipulations noted, I'll go ahead and vote yes on this.
Ms. Brown?
Yes.
Ms. Britt?
Yes.
Calendar 21-109 is granted conditionally, noting that the sex of the residents will be female and that the number of residents will be 5. This will be ratified next week, and we will send you a letter.
Thank you. Good luck, Ms. Davidson.
Thank you all so much.
You're welcome.
Good luck.
Thank you. Have a great day.
You as well. Looks like a nice facility.
Oh man, thank you.
All right, Maurice.
We have one more, I believe.
Yes, I believe we do. Lovely. This case was postponed from August 16th, 2021. This is calendar number 21-125 at 4815 Franklin Boulevard. Let me flip my page. Chad Cortez, owner, proposes to erect a 3-story, 12,750 square foot, 24-unit residential building in a B1 two-family residential district. The owner appeals for relief from the strict application of the Cleveland Codified Ordinances as stated in the agenda and the public record. Of note, the applicant seeks the BZA approval of the site plan differing from that which was approved by the Board of Zoning Appeals in calendar number 19-305, issued January 27th of 2020, and which resulted in permit number B200-11302 that was issued on November 5th, 2020. The highlighted areas in the variances that are listed are those items that are new.
Thank you.
And just one other comment, the case was postponed to allow time for planning and landmarks to review the new outdoor space and landscaping. All right, so that is the case. For the record, I will now read the oath. All those persons wishing to make testimony for case number 21-125, I'm going to ask you now to raise your right hand. I'm going to read the oath. At the conclusion of the oath, your response will be, "I do." Then you'll state your name and your address for the public record. So here we go. Please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you are about to give is the whole truth and nothing but the truth?
I do. David Bowen, 2019 Center Street.
Thank you, David.
I do. Jordan Fitzgerald, 2019 Center Street.
I do. Donald Pettit, 601 Lakeside Avenue.
Anyone else?
I don't believe so.
All right. And are one of you gentlemen acting as agent for the appellant?
Yes, I will be.
Okay,
This is
great.
Jordan.
All right, Jordan. Okay, Madam Chair, back to you.
Thank you. We already had the history. Legal standard, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the board. Appellant is requesting a use variance and area variances from various provisions of the zoning code, including those related to maximum gross floor area, minimum lot size, off-street parking, screening, side yard encroachment, front yard setback, maximum building height, and fences. To obtain the use variance, appellant must prove that denying the request will result in an unnecessary hardship, particularly to the property, such that there will be no economically feasible use of the property without the variance, will deprive the appellant of substantial property rights, and that granting the variance not be contrary to the purpose and intent of the zoning code. To obtain the area variances, appellant must prove that denying the request will create a practical difficulty not generally shared by other land or buildings in the same district, will deprive the appellant of substantial property rights, and that granting the variances will not be contrary to the purpose and intent of the zoning code.
Thank you. So in the interest of time, I know last time you all were here, the board felt that the cake wasn't fully baked before you came. So hopefully you can address the new items that are in the variance write-up. And so Jordan, I believe you said you're the spokesperson, so go ahead.
Yes. Yes, so for the sake of everyone's time, I'll try to go through this relatively quickly, as a lot of this has already been seen in the last presentation. We've just kind of worked out some of the site plan issues that weren't fully baked last time we presented. So to start off, here is the list of adjudication items for this hearing. The highlighted items were presented and adopted by the Board of Zoning Appeals back in January of 27th, 2020. And then the other items I will go through and address in this meeting. Next slide. So this right here is the letter that we received, the resolution from that January 2020 hearing. Next slide, please. And then this right here is our newly developed site plan. So the reason we're here today is because originally we received a parking variance for 20 spaces. And once we received the site survey and engineered the site, we realized that we cannot possibly fit 20 spaces on this site. The maximum number of spaces we can fit is 15. So that caused us to have to kind of rework the site plan a bit. After the last meeting, the last hearing in August, we met on site with the architect, the owner, and landmarks. We talked through this. This site plan was developed after that meeting, and it has been reviewed by landmarks. Next slide. So then I'll start to break down all the components of this. We'll start off with parking. We're required to have 24 parking spaces. We can fit 15 on site. The owner has signed a lease with the church next door for 10 additional spaces. So we have a total of 25 parking spaces. Next slide. And then this right here is a copy of the revised parking lease agreement between the neighboring church and the property owner. And this shows where that parking lot is relative to our site. It's right across the street. Next slide. And then here is a list of examples of nearby housing developments that have less than the required number of parking spaces. Next slide. Okay, so another item on the adjudication list is side yard encroachment. Per the code, we're required to have a side yard setback of 3 feet in this zoning district. As you can see by the highlighted numbers, our parking lot is greater than the 3-foot requirement, so we conform there. Next slide. And then the building setback, there's a 10-foot step back established for Franklin Boulevard. And then the actual setback of this building from the property line is 10 feet. So we do conform with that as well. Next slide. And then again, we conform with the height requirements along Franklin Boulevard. We conform. And then we get into landscaping. So as you can see from this blow up, we have landscaping that lines the back perimeter of the building, as well as a landscape buffer between the parking lot on our property and the neighboring residential property to the west. And next slide, please. Here's kind of an example of what the owner would like to plant in those landscaped areas. It'll be a variety of arborvitaes right along the property line, mixed in with some zebra grasses and some drift roses. And then along the back of the building, there's going to be a mix. There already is a mix of zebra grasses and those roses. Next slide is, this one's good. Then we get into the fencing. I'll start off on the south property line. We are proposing on having a 6-foot high privacy fence that runs between the 2 dumpster enclosures. And then once we get to the east of our dumpster enclosure, it drops down to a 4-foot fence with 50% visibility. Oh, sorry. Once we get to the west of our dumpster enclosure, we drop down to a 4-foot high fence with 50% visibility. If you look at the southeast corner of our property, that is actually a dumpster enclosure that the owner is going to construct on his property, but it's going to contain the dumpster for the neighboring church because that is currently the location of their dumpster. And just to be a good neighbor, he wants to kind of help them out with that. And then to the west of that is our dumpster enclosure. It will match, both dumpster enclosures will match the 6-foot high fence. It's proposed to be a board-on-board white fence. And then if you look along the west property line, the residential neighbor wants to replace his fence with a board-on-board fence to match our fence, and it's going to be in the same location as the current chain link fence. And that owner wants to keep that fence on his property. And then, yeah, but the developer is doing it. Next slide, please. This is kind of what we're proposing the fence to look like, the 6-foot high privacy fence with an accent band across the top to kind of break up that mass, and then the 4-foot high 50% opacity fence right there on your right. And that concludes our presentation. You have any questions?
We'll hear from Mr. Pettit now, since we've gone through this.
Thank you, Madam Chair and board members. I met with the appellant and the architects after the last hearing date, and we met at the site. We talked about our expectations. We talked about some of the limitations of the site. In brief, I reviewed the plan. I think it reflects what we discussed at the site. I think in a lot of ways, it's better than the original plan. I think it provides more screening. It better defines the parking lot along Wales Court. And it also includes additional landscaping. And so Landmarks fully supports the new site plan. And we have no objection to the variances being requested.
Thank you. Maurice, are you representing city planning for today?
Yes, ma'am. And of course, city planning would agree with the Landmarks Commission. We really like the idea of the river rock, the way they've treated that against the house. It gives the neighboring property owner of the house on the, the west side, I think easier access to their house in case they have to do any maintenance. So you don't have to worry about mowing back there. And it also makes sense against the church. My only concern is the board fence on Wales Court. I just hope it doesn't get hit by too many people flying around the corner on that court. I don't know if there's anything you could do to try to protect it against that, because you're specifying a really nice fence. So that's my only comment. But yes, we overwhelmingly support this new site plan.
Thank you. Let's see. We don't have any residents on the call. Was that I know we heard from them the last time, but do we have any letters or anything, Ms. Kukla?
No, nothing new.
Okay.
Hello? Nothing additional.
Great. Well, I want to commend you for going back and putting this together properly and giving us a good presentation this time. Seems like you've impressed city planning as well as Landmark, so kudos to you for that. With that being said, I'll move to the board if they have any further questions, or I'll entertain a motion.
Madam Chair, I would extend my appreciation to the appellants, all members, for coming back to us with everything that we requested, and for making amends for moving forward on things without having approval on things previously. I share Mr. Rulin's concern about the fence that is on the perimeter against the alleyway. It looks like they're going to be using vinyl privacy fence on that perimeter. Those are 6-foot panels typically. I would say that to preserve the fence, they'd want to make sure that that they're using 4x4 pressure treated posts with the vinyl sleeve over those posts to add for additional support and hopefully help with the longevity of the fence in that area. With that being said, I think they've fulfilled all of our expectations, at least mine. I had a very visceral response to them last time, and I am satisfied with what they've come back to us with. So with that, I move that we go ahead and approve their variances.
Have a second?
Ms. Barnes, second.
Thank you. Call the roll.
Barnes,
Yes.
Ms. Bate,
Yes.
Ms. Brown,
Yes.
Ms. Britt.
Yes.
Calendar 21-125 is granted conditionally based upon the revised final site plan. We will ratify this next week and we will send you a letter.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, I think that was our last case.
That was
Finally.
our last case. We have old business now.
All right, old business 2 through 4 without objection.
Without objection.
And we have a request for a postponement for a change of use for Wade Park. What's going on with this, Liz?
The councilman would like to meet with the community on this. It is
Okay.
a change of use from a single family to a multifamily.
Okay. All right, without objection, board?
Without
Without
objection.
objection.
And we could give that the date of October. Let me see if they already have us. Let's do October 11th. Is that a holiday? No, we don't celebrate. We don't do. We don't
Yeah,
have a day off.
it's my holiday, but you all don't have it, so.
We do
That's
October
Columbus
18th.
Day, right?
We do October 18th.
Yeah. Yeah, let's
And
keep
we're
it
on
11. Let's
Columbus
keep that
Day.
11th one light, so I'm not wasting my entire off day hanging out
Well,
with
of
you
course,
guys.
if we don't have a quorum that day, we probably couldn't meet.
We
Oh, did I just say that?
we probably will have one.
Oh,
All
well,
right,
on that note, we do have a Maurice, are we still live?
We still are live, and you still have one more. Do you have another request for a postponement? The one on
Yeah.
we do.
If
Auburn.
I could set the date, we should do the 11th because I believe that we have a member that'll be out on the 18th. And I think Mr. Donovan is not coming back after the 5th. Right?
Okay.
I think that's correct.
Yeah, that works.
The 11th we should probably try to keep, and I could just still keep it late because we're not going to have a quorum on the 18th.
Okay, we'll put on the 11th.
So are we saying since we don't have a quorum on the 18th, we will not be meeting?
Yes, right.
So I would be safe to schedule a trip to Michigan for my dad's birthday that week?
Yes, I think so. Yeah.
All right.
Okay, we have another postponement. The appellant needs time to meet with the Black Club without objection.
Without objection.
Well, we could put them on October. We can put them on October 4th. That is 3 weeks away, though. Let me see. 1, 2, 3. Unless we should put them on. October 11th can work too. I can do. I could still keep it light.
Okay.
Okay, so that's going to be on the 11th then.
Yep.
Okay.
That does it.
All right, we are adjourned. And
Actually, Liz, if I could bring to your attention on the